Teamwork. Teamwork was the central theme and the common thread for our season this year. It was clearly the glue that kept us together. Coaches, players, all together as one. So keeping in that theme, I'd like to ask the senior battle coaching staff to please come up and stand by my side one more time. Please, as Coach Fink alluded to, this trophy was awarded to us during the halftime of the Super Bowl. Boys, I want you to take a look at this. This is the fruit of your labor. Clap yourselves up. You are I invite all of you to come up after the end of the program to take a look at this. The trophy belongs to you. On behalf of the senior coaching staff and players, I'd like to extend a collective thank you to the Board of Directors. Your hard work, your effort, are clearly the wheels that keep us on track all year. Without you, we'd spin our wheels. With maximum efficiency, you hosted the Combine, the Super Bowl, and all home games in between, and have clearly set the high standards for the next team in the NYFL that must follow us. And I thank you very much for your efforts. On behalf of the players and coaching staff, I'd like to extend a collective thank you to Athletic Director Michael Tardash and Coach Vincent Barber. Thank you for encouraging open lines of communication and the spirit of cooperation between the Battle Football and the Warrior Football program. Gentlemen, you virtually rolled out the red carpet for us this year. You made us shine within the NYFL. For that, we thank you. On a personal note, Coach, I'd like to tell you that many of your players attended our games, both home and away. And many more volunteered their personal time on Combine Day to help us get through that day. I want you to know now that at all times they displayed exemplary personal conduct and were clearly a positive influence on the players. Coach, that's a credit to you, your coaching staff, and the discipline that you demand from them. I'm going to ask you to please do me the favor to thank them on my behalf the next time you see them in a group setting. Thank you, sir. To the Battle-Ed cheerleaders and coaches, ladies, your enthusiasm and team spirit did not go unnoticed this year. Your cheers and dance routines clearly energized our fan base and resonated in a winning attitude on the field to our players. I thank you very much, and I can tell you that the United States Marine Corps called and wants to know if you can do any more push-ups for them. Thank you so much. A personal thank you to Andy Patnaud. Andy, for everything that you did for us, quietly and unassuming behind the scenes. I know a dozen times this year you told me, no big deal, Coach, no big deal. I want you to know right now, in front of everyone here tonight, Andy, it was a big deal to us. We appreciate it, and thank you so much. Last but not least, I say thank you to the moms and dads, grandparents, and all family members who attended our games, who stood on the sidelines and stood in the bleachers, rain or shine, and cheered us on. Your energy, I can tell you clearly, pushed us over the top in 3 games that I know of. You rooted us on to victory, and don't think for 1 minute we didn't hear you behind us. Thank you so much. More importantly, I thank you as parents for encouraging your boys to get in the game. And I'm going to ask you to please encourage them to stay in the game. A simple thank you to you folks doesn't seem like it's enough. However, the sacrifice and dedication that you showed for our team this year is appreciated more than you will ever know. Thank you. To my coaches, the senior coaching staff, the role of a youth football coach is a critical undertaking, and one that should not be taken lightly. Each and every one of you gentlemen were exceptional in your own right. Each coach brought knowledge and love of this game to the table. Each one of you has a unique perspective on this game. It was those perspectives blended together that was the recipe to our success. Battle football could not have asked for better role models for our boys to look up to. And thank you for that. As coaches, you were energetic, you were diligent, and you were dependable. And your cooperative work habits kept our staff composed under the stresses of game day on Sundays. That I appreciate. You made my job clearly much easier. To Marty, Frank, John, and Mike, as you close this chapter in your life, I ask you to do one more thing for me. I ask you to cherish your memories. I ask you to hold them tight. Know that you did well as coaches, as role models, and as mentors to our boys. And know this, our community is clearly a better place to live with you gentlemen in it. It is my absolute and distinct honor to be able to coach with you. These men you see standing before you will forever be remembered for their sacrifice and for the hard work that they've put in. It is my honor, and I am very proud to call each and every one of you friend. Thank you so much. Now, 2010 football players senior battle. Boys, I'm going to ask you to do one more thing for me as your coach this year. I'm going to ask you to please stand. Stand at your seats. Eyes up front. Stand tall, boys, and be recognized. UCLA has a very, very famous basketball coach, Coach John Wooden. Coach John Wooden is very famous for the number of national championships that he has won. Coach Wooden is also extremely famous for his motivational speeches and his inspirational quotes. I read an article about Coach Wooden not too long ago. And within that article contained a quote that he had given to his players just before the 1964 national championship game between UCLA and Duke. They won that game, by the way. Coach Wooden said to his boys, "The value of achievement lies in the achieving." When I read that quote, I thought of you. How true it is for this special group of football players. Your accomplishments on the football field are a shining example of the hard work you put in to prepare yourselves for this season. As coaches, we challenged you right from day one. And I can tell you in the 11 seasons that I've coached, you did more up-downs, you ran more hills, You hit more sleds and you ran more gassers until you felt you couldn't go on any longer. As exhaustion set in, I think you surprised yourselves at how far you really could push yourselves. Your hard work paid off, boys. You met the challenges of this season head on, and your reward was recording an undefeated season, a divisional championship, and you played yourselves in to the semifinal round of the playoffs. Astounding success, to say the least. Your winning attitude began to take shape on day one of the preseason. As football players and as a team, you began to set benchmarks for yourselves. You set these benchmarks without realizing that you were even doing it. Let me give you some examples. On the third weekend of practice, amongst yourselves, you demanded that each player wear a maroon jersey to practice. So we all looked the same and there were no odd men out. Boys, that's unit cohesion. You absolutely refused to take a drop of water until all of your players were done doing their laps, and even sacrificed your rest time to go back out on the field and to run with the boys who were struggling, so you could all finish together and you could finish strong. That's unit cohesion. Or when you were chanting battle hard during your gassers, when you thought you were done, and I demanded that you run 3 or 4 more, knowing full well that you probably didn't understand why. But come fourth quarter on game day, I know you know why. When you were exhausted and didn't feel that you could push yourselves any further, and your head was telling you you must stop, your heart and your gut told you to go on. That's a can-do attitude. Or when Anthony Pernicero and Nick Campion asked to address their teammates during the halftime of the Hoosick Falls game and the Brunswick game, respectively. Even going so far as to ask the coaching staff to excuse us so they could speak amongst themselves. As coaches, we looked at each other. The look on our face was clearly, you have now come together as a team. That's devotion to each other. And I'm not really sure what Anthony and Nick said during those hoorah speeches at halftime, but whatever it was, clearly motivated you to get the victory that day. All of those examples are the cornerstones in the foundation to team building, teamwork. As you grow into young men and you look back on your football playing days, I want you to remember fondly how you set the highest standards of excellence for yourselves and then obtain that excellence. I want you to remember fondly how you restored pride back into a very, very proud football organization. Remember how you energized an entire community that came out to cheer you on and to root you on right to the very end. And always, always remember that in the autumn of 2010, boys, you truly were the boys of fall. Clap yourselves up, gentlemen.